I wanted to make this video for a long time, specifically aimed for people who are considering or thinking about moving to Norway, whether that is work, studies, or other reasons. There is one thing you should know. Making friends here is not as straightforward and easy. There are many cultural norms and social mechanics here that are different than in other cultures. And I'm going to explain some of them and how to actually make friends. So, even for someone like me who grew up in Norway and who speaks the language, I still find it difficult to really connect with fellow Norwegians, especially as I have gotten older. I've traveled a lot and even lived abroad a few times as an exchange student, and I found it much easier to connect with people that I met abroad, especially those from Southern Europe, from countries like Spain, Greece, the Balkans, Poland. And today, most of the people that I actually hang around with in Norway are all expats or people who have moved to Norway from abroad. And interestingly enough, they all say the same thing about finding friendship in Norway, and that is, it is difficult. The first reason why it's difficult to make friends in Norway is because most Norwegians form a close-knit group of friends from childhood, school, or from university. And for most of the time, they will almost exclusively just stick to this group well into their adult lives. I'd say the last place, the last social arena to form these kind of friendships is at university. Beyond that, it's already too late. Most Norwegians are rarely open to form new friendships outside of this group or even allow other people into the group. The only exception is if the person is an exact blueprint of the other group members. You need to have the same humor, interest, and most importantly, the same cultural and political views as the rest of the group. Many people I talk with from abroad think Norway to be an individualistic society. If you ask me though, I think Norwegian society is a lot more collectivistic than most think. And it has to be said that this is not a strictly a Norwegian phenomenon, but after spending time abroad, I think this kind of social behavior is way more common here. The second reason why it's difficult to find friends here is that Norwegians are known to be quite reserved and quiet. There really isn't a culture to just simply strike up a casual conversation with a Norwegian on the bus, on public transport, or at the park or a cafe. In fact, it is considered to be weird, almost as a social taboo, and most Norwegians feel kind of awkward and are not comfortable conversing with people they don't personally know. The third reason is alcohol and the Norwegian drinking culture. Now, it's common in most countries and cultures to have a few beers or glasses of wine. It makes people more talkative and removes some of that social barrier when approaching. The difference is that Norwegians have to drink to become social and open to talk, I remember this one conversation I had with a colleague many years ago when I was working part-time in a bar when I was studying. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along these lines. You know what? You're actually a really cool guy to work with. Like, we should hang out someday and get really hammered together. To me, that was kind of strange to hear why someone needs to get heavily intoxicated, as if it's some kind of prerequisite just to be friends or to make friends. Now, I've made great connections with people from different countries and also with Norwegians as well, with no alcohol involved whatsoever. I wondered for a long time if this was a Norwegian cultural thing to get like really wasted just to just have a conversation. Just recently I came across this research article published by a Norwegian university, and they dubbed it something like one night friendships. Basically it's when a Norwegian person who is quiet and reserved, let's say from work, suddenly becomes the most talkative person after just a few drinks. This person will talk about everything about his or her life, share funny stories, and just generally be open-minded. And then the next day this person reverts back to his or her normal self as if nothing happened. For long I've been thinking about why it's that, and this article just perfectly explained to me that this is more or less a Norwegian cultural thing. I'm gonna add a link to the article in the description. So I've explained why establishing genuine friendships in Norway is difficult. The question then is, how do you actually make friends then? First of all, most of you will struggle to decode the social and cultural norms when it comes to interpersonal relations in Norway. You can make a lot of great friends here, but you have to be patient because it will take some time. The first thing that I recommend people is to join some kind of group activity. There are many of those here, such as hiking clubs, running clubs, martial arts, chess clubs, book club, etc. and so on. And joining these kind of groups is especially true as you get older, because you're not exposed to as many social arenas as you used to when you were younger, especially like when you went to school or at university. So, for instance, I joined a CrossFit group, and the thing about joining a group that is centered around being physical active is that it's gonna attract all kinds of people. So all kinds of people join these groups because they all have a common goal, that is to stay in shape or to get in shape. Another great example, which is maybe more like specific for Norway, and that is if you join or attend some of the events organized by the Norwegian Trekking Association. They organize many hiking tours several times a week, where you can hike in different trails as part of a group. And many of these group hiking tours are specifically aimed for people who don't have a large social network, and also for those who like meeting people outdoors in a non-alcoholic environment. I've met people here who have never done anything on their own until they moved to Norway. And once they came here, they figured out that they need to take up some kind of hobby or to be comfortable on their own to make time pass. Anyway, those are my observations and some of my advice. If you're here or decide to move here, you should adapt your approach, own the solitude, and build your own circle. I hope this helps.